I'm Isa El-Hajj, also known as Isa E. I'm a very Palestinian Canadian, and I was born in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and was raised in Canada.
When did you come to Dubai?
I came to Dubai around 10 years ago, so a decade.
Tell me about your first release. How did that kickstart?
Like my first release ever? Oh, wow. My first release was very interesting. It's the first time I took everything that I was doing on my computer, that I was singing in a computer microphone, and decided to go to a studio in Canada. And I found a very interesting studio, which was a church that got converted into a studio. So the acoustics in there were just insane, and the stained glass and everything. It's just amazing. And I went there, and we decided to even go extra, and I hired the Halifax Orchestra to come in and do a lot of the music on there and whatnot. So it was a beautiful experience for our first song that I never released.
You never released it?
Never released it. It was called Love a Lie.
Love a Lie.
Yeah.
Do you ever plan on reworking it?
One day, possibly.
When I found out about you, I realized that you are really in the dark with your music. You're out there, but you're not out there. So what is that about?
That's true. Perfectionist in nature, so I tend to always hold back on a lot of music that I have because I feel that it's not ready to be heard. And also working with people. I'm very particular about working with people. I want people to be on the same vibe as me, the idea and everything. But I'm trying to change that. A lot of people, including yourself, are pushing me to release more and be out there a bit more. And I appreciate that. And I'm planning to do that.
I love that because I've heard a lot of your unreleased music, and I really think that you should start being consistent and releasing stuff. Then what? It's just sitting there, right? And it's really good work. So can you tell me about your songwriting and the choice of music or the genre that you go for?
So writing music, although I was complimented many times before on writing, to be honest, it is a very challenging thing for me because I'd have to be inspired greatly to sit there and just, have words just flow out of my mind. So it's always been a challenge, but when it works, it works. A lot of my lyrics and a lot of the music that I like is very dark in nature. I like taboo-ish topics, dark R&B, things of that nature, soulful music. I love that as well. I don't do much of it or enough of it, but I love it. I love deeply impactful lyrics and melodies and things of that nature. I love that. Waves is interesting because I wrote Waves when the pandemic started, right? I started writing it then. And it was a very confusing time for myself and everybody else. I didn't know what I was feeling, like this whole being confined in a house and not being able to see anybody or go out or meet anyone was taking a toll on me and my creativity as well. So that's how we started off, or I started off writing this song. Now, luckily, I got a lot of help with the music. Again, the idea was there, but I seeked out a producer in the US, and he's more of a beat maker. So we were bouncing off ideas and things like that, and then he sent me a version of it, and I loved it. If you hear Waves, it has a lot of elements to it, the music. And immediately, as soon as I heard the music, it was easier to write to it, right? Because you feel the emotions in the song and whatnot. So that's how Waves happened. And when we finished the song, a lot of close friends and people that heard it loved it. So that's when I decided I wanted to make a music video for that. And that's when I reached out to you. I honestly haven't watched it in a while. And people remind me of it. And I was yesterday at a market somewhere and somebody started singing the song to me, right? And I was just surprised that people, remember the lyrics and remember the visuals and whatnot. So it's quite humbling.
Congrats on that, on the track release and on the music video, and now yes. You've been here for 10 years, but we don't know you for 10 years in the music scene. So I'm just wondering, what was it from your standpoint?
Well, to be honest, because I'm not really from here, when I first came here, the music scene was a bit difficult. So when I came in, I actually came in with, I actually traveled with a DJ of mine from Canada. We had an idea here that we wanted to implement in different clubs and whatnot. But that did not work out for many reasons. But the challenge I had in the beginning is not knowing any of the artists or not knowing any of the producers or anybody that was in the scene, because clearly I'm not from here. But throughout the years, when I started getting approached by different, blogs, podcasts, I remember, I think there was a Red Bull at one point, right, approached and over a remix that I made to my own track, which was interesting. It was the first time I attempted that. And they picked it up and it was on redbull.com, like it was everywhere. And then a funny story, I was working in a real estate company when I first came here, right? I think everybody worked in a real estate company when they first come here. But my direct manager was interviewing me and looking at my CV, and he was ignoring everything on there except for my hobbies, which was all about music. And he kept asking me, so what do you do? What genre? Do you have something? Like, can I hear it? In an interview. And then he heard my music. Now I got hired. I don't know, maybe it's because of my music. I don't know. But I got hired, and it turns out that my direct manager is a big-time DJ in the UK, right, who relocated to Dubai and whatnot. So in collaboration with another DJ that we know in the UK as well, we released a song, and that song was a hit. It was a remix to my original song, but the remix made it very far, to the point that there's a DJ by the name of Kenny Dope, which is a massive DJ from New York, who always travels to Spain, Ibiza and whatnot, and it was part of his set. So my song was playing in every club he was playing in Ibiza, and we signed contracts for it and all of that. So it was quite interesting. And after that, of course, once my name was getting out there and people can see, the music and whatnot, I started meeting a lot of the local talent, right? In the beginning, I was meeting a lot of international, expats and whatnot who were into music. But then I got into meeting local talent. And to be honest, they were more of a hidden gem situation, right? Because you meet a lot of these local artists and you're just blown away, whether it's vocals, whether it's charisma, whether it's ideas, whether it's anything. So I was blown away with a few people, and even, behind the cameras and behind the mics, like producers and sound engineers and whatnot, I met superb people who I'm still in touch with till today. And of course I worked with some and would love to work with others. So absolutely, I think the music scene here is growing, is steadily growing. And I think we're gonna see a lot of, things that will most likely end up on the world stage. I've seen it happen before with collaborations with major platforms and major artists from, North America or Europe or whatever. It happens. But I think there needs to be more focus on that, and it needs to be driven.
Something I'm trying to debunk right now in the local community, which is, or that stigma or that judgment of being Arab, but performing in English.
Right. So I'm going to tell you about myself, right? So for me personally, I'm just more comfortable in English because I've grown up in Canada and my whole life was in English. Although I speak, write, and read Arabic fine at a very good level. But I feel like, when you hear people tell you they think in English or they think in a certain language, that's how I think. I think in English. My comfort language is immediately like I go to English, right? I struggle sometimes when I speak Arabic. When I first came here, I struggled with business Arabic, right? Because that's a little different. But I'm personally more comfortable in English. However, I have sung before in Arabic, and a lot of people are pushing me to sing more in Arabic because I have the Arabic tone and the singing. Like I have that, and you can feel it when I sing in English. You can hear that, right? So they call it the melisma. So I have that Arabic melisma in my singing in English, which kind of makes my sound unique in that sense. So if I can achieve it in English, of course I can do it in Arabic, and it's something that's always been on my mind. But if I do any Arabic music, it would have to be something impactful, maybe for Palestine, right? So, but other artists that I meet here who combine both English and Arabic in their music, at first, for somebody for the first time, I'm like, I cringed a little bit, but then I hear it the second time and I'm like, you know what? This is really good, right? So it took me a while because we are not, I wasn't used to it. And, I think it's just a matter of getting people more conditioned to love their native language, right? I think a lot of people run away from that. So I like it, I support it, I champion that stuff. I have Arab artists on my playlists, so I do listen to it and I like it, absolutely.
But what does authenticity mean to you?
What does authenticity mean to you? Honestly, just, cliche, but be yourself, of course, and not really care how you are perceived, right? If you have an idea in your mind and go for it, do it, be yourself, do that idea. Don't try to copy a certain artist or copy a certain vibe that's happening around you. If you're into it, you're into it, of course, do that. But don't do it to please people or to gain more likes or more streams or whatever it is. I do see artists that literally, I think are talented, but choose to go an interesting route where they do sort of music that is just cookie cutter, right? It just attracts people because this is what people are, conditioned to hear or to listen to or to like. So yeah, in that sense, just explore, be raw in things that you do, right? So being raw is quite important. I think from my own experience, it's the moments where I sat there and I was just like, going off and writing or exploring some mistake I made musically, and those things turned out to be something that people are like, oh, that part, love it, right? So you never know what people might really relate to, which is important to be yourself.
Can you tell us about Wasted Youth?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Wasted Youth is a brand that I started at least 2 years ago, so beginning of the pandemic as well. and basically it's a unisex line. We produce everything locally here in the UAE, and it stands. I mean, I like to leave it open for interpretation, because sometimes the name is misconceived and it's looked at in a negative way, but it's not. It's actually a positive message, right? It's about your wasted youth. The youth you've wasted is never really wasted, and you can always come back and rebuild from there, or write a new chapter, or do something, with that knowledge you gained, or things you've lost, whatever it is, right? So this is the point behind it, and yeah, so we're looking to grow every day and be unique as well. We're not, we do a lot of raw things and interesting combinations of colors and palettes and whatnot. So yeah, so this is Wasted Youth.
What would you tell your younger self?
You should have done this sooner. Absolutely that. I think, and I'll be very honest with you, I think I was just indulging in a lot of things and just having a really good time. That things that I was passionate about, I kind of put on the back burner or put aside, just because I want to have fun or whatever it is. So yeah, I would have dedicated some time. I'm not saying don't have fun, but definitely dedicate time to things that you love and you want to achieve, or you want to be known for when you leave this lovely earth. It resonates massively with me because I love working with people and continue to work with these people. I mean, if you noticed, we did a video together, and I always come back to you for other things. I enjoy people who are on the same wavelength as I am, and care about my art or my music the way I do, right? So this is something that you usually don't find everywhere, but when you find it, I personally like to hold on to it, because I give you, this piece of art, and I know you're gonna handle it with care, right? So this is the type of thing that I enjoy, whether it's with, music videos or music in general, or anything that I'm doing, right? Even with my own clothing brand, I've developed a very strong relationship with the manufacturer and whatnot, and we do things together because they care about what they produce for me. So we're trying to produce something that is, quality for UAE, and it's the same for music, it's the same for videos, it's the same for all sorts of art.
When I'm in my cup, I do the most, rolling in the deep end.